Welcome to the Tits Up podcast with Coley Arnold, the unapologetic space for women in the thick of it. You know, the messy middle where you're too far in to quit, but the finish line feels like a mirage. Where the pressure is high, the stakes are real, and every win feels hard-earned. This isn't a highlight reel. This is the unfiltered truth about building a business, holding your life together, and finding your fire when it would be easier to burn it all down. If you're tired of fake perfection and ready for the real, raw conversations that make you feel seen and lit up, then grab your coffee, your courage, and let's do this. Shoulders back, head high, tits up, girlfriend. Are you building a business that might look good on paper but still feels lonely, messy, or unclear behind the scenes? You don't have to figure it all out alone. The Foundress is a community for female founders who are ready to scale with clarity, connection, and purpose. Whether you're making your first 6 figures or scaling towards 7, we're the place where your ambition is seen, your ideas are sharpened, and your success is celebrated. Inside, you'll find strategy, deep support, and a powerful circle of women who get it. Because at Foundress, we don't just network, we grow together. If you're craving more than just another business group, if you're ready for mentorship, momentum, and women who speak your language, come join us. Your seat at the table is waiting. Head to foundress.co to learn more. On this episode, I am sitting with Charlene Byars, who is a women empowerment coach and the host of the podcast Love Stories with Charlene Byars on YouTube as well. We are diving into a juicy conversation about high-achieving women, relationships, and how maybe you can have it all. Oh, welcome, Charlene. I'm so glad you're here.
I am so excited to be here. Seriously, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. Okay, so before we start, I want to dive into a little bit about your background.
Okay.
What do you do? How'd you get started? Tell us everything.
So I am a mama. I'm a mama of 4 and 1 bonus son. I'm a wife. I'm a little bit of everything. So I am an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur as long as I can remember. I'm also a feminine embodiment practitioner. And I also have a podcast called Love Stories with Charlene Byars. And really my background is I'm a women's empowerment coach.
Love it.
And how did I get started in this? That was the question?
Yeah.
So I think I got started in what I'm doing. I really believe just my whole life I had a passion for growth. I had a passion for women. I can remember back in the day, I've always been, what they call a true woman's woman. And there's something about just seeing another woman shine and creating, the life of her dreams, because, I've been trying to do that myself. And so I knew that there was something very powerful about other women creating, the desires of their hearts. I knew there was something very powerful about community. And so that's kind of just been since, honestly, I was young.
Yeah.
I just over the weekend, I still friends with a group of girlfriends that I actually grew up with. And it's kind of rare.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind of rare. So I just think that the work that I do has always been about just really moving forward. Really moving forward in life and creating that. And I think what happened was when I was, I was an entrepreneur and I'm doing all the things. I was in sales.
Okay.
And when it was interesting because when I got into sales, I really started realizing, with women, even though I was helping them with sales and my team, we were making crazy money. Like the money wasn't the issue.
Right.
But one thing that I noticed with, that was happening was it was the matters of the heart. That's where a lot of us women were struggling.
Right.
We're like, okay, we're making the money. We're doing all the things. But in my world, the women that I was dealing with, but they also really had a hard time with the matters of the heart. Yeah. So I knew that there was something there. And I thought about, I've gone through, all the things. But one thing I didn't realize through the years is that when it came to advice, I was really able to give advice that helped people make real changes.
Yeah.
real changes.
That's awesome.
And, give it to them the way they needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And it was always loving and kind, but it was direct and straight. And sometimes, when we're wanting change and we want to do something differently, sometimes it's a little hard, to listen to. You're like, what? Okay, this is direct and this is something that I wasn't even expecting.
Right.
But it's actually things that can help people. And so that's, so my background, both of my parents, I'm first generation Cuban. Amazing. So my first language is Spanish. Okay. So I feel very comfortable talking in Spanish.
That's amazing.
Yes. And both of my parents are from Cuba.
Okay.
So we came here, both of my parents left Cuba when they hear about this man called Castro coming to the, so it was very abrupt, crazy.
How old were you?
I was not even born.
Okay.
So this is both of my parents left Cuba. I'm not even existed yet.
Okay.
My father didn't even know each other, but their beginnings, obviously coming to the United States, and it was very challenging. They're both American citizens.
Okay, amazing.
But with me, just being in a home that only spoke Spanish, because I'm first generation.
Yeah.
So in my home, Coley, like we only spoke Spanish. I don't even think until I went to actual school, I even really heard English.
Wow.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because not only was it like Spanish in the house, my mother, my father, also my grandmother lived with us.
Okay.
And she never spoke English.
Wow.
And then the music was Spanish, the friends were Spanish, and the TV. So so everything was Spanish. And
I never thought about that before. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
but it makes so much sense.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So all I remember is I went to school, and I'm like 5.
You're like, what the hell is this?
I was like, what? And then if you see me, look at me. You're not thinking I'm going to speak Spanish.
Right.
And I remember my mom always used to put me little pigtails, so I just looked like this little, hi. And I remember I don't have a lot of memories of when I was 5 or 6, but I do remember that moment. And I can't remember everything, but I just remember standing there and this language was coming. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I just cried.
Oh.
Because I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't even know why I'm sharing that. But like,
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was just like, what is that? Like, what? I don't understand. So because I am, me and my brother are first generation, and we had to pretty much be the ones that.
You had to learn it.
We had to learn it,
and
girlfriend.
Probably
we had
teach your parents.
Yeah, we had to learn it. So I've always had to kind of just figure it out.
That's a lot of responsibility for little kids. Yeah.
It was. And I always had to just figure it out on my own. And so lo and behold, but I knew. I was like, okay. I knew I wanted to create, I didn't know what it was exactly, but I knew I wanted a business. I knew I wanted to do something. I don't know. I just always was driven. I don't know specifically. Well, actually, I always thought that I was going to be a character on SNL.
Oh, okay. I love that for you.
A character on SNL.
Hey, you're still young. We have time.
I know. So I always thought, because I remember writing down like the characters and stuff, because I come from the generation of Mr. Bill.
Oh yeah, and so good.
Yeah, so I used to remember I had a little book, and I would write down like all my different characters that I was going to play on SNL.
That's amazing.
And that's okay. But as I went by,
I can totally see this for you.
Yes.
By the way, I'm kind of having an epiphany, and I think we need to get you there.
Yeah.
I don't know how. If anyone watching knows how to get Charlene on SNL, I think this needs to happen.
SNL. I can't even imagine now. That would just be. I mean, I actually think I still have my book.
Oh my gosh, you have to find that.
I have to find that, right?
That would be amazing.
I have to find that. I don't think I ever really threw. We moved a lot.
Yeah,
but I don't think I threw that away.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But anyway, so lo and behold, so as I was working with women, the matters of the heart was something that was like kept coming up. Okay, and at the time, I was married to my ex-husband.
Okay,
so I was married to my ex-husband for 23 years. Wow. So he's the father of my children.
Okay.
And when I was married to my ex-husband, I had a completely different mindset than I have today.
Yeah.
And when I was married to my ex-husband, I didn't know, but I didn't even understood the trauma that I had as a child. I just didn't know. Like, it was like something, in my culture, when we grow Cuban, you don't talk about things.
Right.
You don't, you just kind of, everything's okay. It's okay. Literally, everything's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. So you don't talk about things. And then even thinking, like, I never even knew that there was therapy.
Yeah.
Or I never knew that there was, like, counseling. Like, that just actually didn't exist.
Right.
It just didn't exist, girlfriend. It just didn't exist.
We don't talk about those
No,
things.
we don't talk about those things. We don't talk about things, which is really good to talk about those things.
Right.
You know what I
We
mean? I'm
all
just
need
letting you guys
therapy.
know, just letting you know now. So when I was married to my ex-husband, I grew up, unfortunately, with my stepfather wasn't nice. And he was very loud. Very loud.
Yeah.
So like, even when he wasn't mad, his voice was very loud. So he screamed a lot. I'm not even kidding you when I'm saying this. I didn't know that we had different tones.
Right. It was just yelling or
It was just
nothing.
loud. It was like loud. And it wasn't like a warm and fuzzy loud.
Right.
It was loud. So I remember when I was married to my ex-husband, and my ex-husband had a very strong personality too. Okay?
Yeah.
We both did.
Yeah.
And I already said to you, I take full responsibility for myself. I take full responsibility for how I was showing up.
Right.
But the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now is because of that experience.
Yeah.
So when I'm working with the women and they're having, matters of the heart and they're asking questions and I'm giving them advice that they were going and applying.
Right.
And they were like, that works.
Right.
Okay, cool. But at the time, I couldn't do it for myself. I could, you know what I
I don't
mean?
think any of us can.
What's that about?
Right. Right.
Like, seriously, what's that about?
That's why community is so important.
It is.
We need
And
others to
that's
speak into
I want to
our
talk.
lives.
I want to talk about that. That's really good that you just brought that up. Again, I take full responsibility
Right.
for
I like the way you said that, for how I showed up.
how I showed up.
Right.
And my
Things
actions.
can happen to us. We can react. Right. We can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only knew, sometimes what happens is it's based on where you're at, the maturity that you have, the healing that you had is how you're going to, show up. But when I was in that marriage, because I couldn't see what I couldn't see, I truly believe, I'm not even kidding you, that it was all him. If only he could change, then I'm going to be okay. If only he would do this, or only and I really believe that.
Yeah.
And let me talk about community. I didn't know back then, but I was also surrounded by women that not so much really kind of honored marriage.
Yeah.
So when I would, and my fault, I shared too much. And when I would talk, and sometimes I think I was just kind of, just sometimes what women do.
Right.
You're kind of frustrated and you're sharing your dirty laundry. You're thinking
Right.
you're sharing it with safe. I thought I didn't share it with everybody.
Right.
But I thought I was honestly sharing it with
Safe people.
safe
Right.
people. Yeah, safe people. And maybe I wasn't, because I remember when I would share stuff, instead of, like probably the advice I would give someone, I would say, you should really go talk to a professional.
Right. Right.
And get under the hood and really see what's going on.
Right.
I got the opposite. I leave him. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, forget
out of
it.
here.
Get out of here. Like, whatever. And leave the guy. I'm like, leave the guy? Yeah, I don't leave the guy. And they're like,
Got it.
seriously, I got it. And then I'm like, yeah. He's a jerk. Yeah. But I'm not sitting here seeing that I was a jerk too.
Right.
So, so lo and behold, I think what I ended up doing at the time, and it was honestly, it was the most craziest decision I ever made.
Wow.
You can't go back in life.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that, for real, our actions have consequences.
Yeah.
It could be good or bad.
Yep.
Could be good or bad. So I made a
I tell
decision.
my children that all the time.
Right. They do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if I go to the right, what is that going to mean? If I go to the left, what's it going to mean? Because your actions are going to have some consequences either way. So I ended up leaving a marriage and a man. Coley, seriously, I'm in love with,
Wow.
father of my children, together all these years, truly believing that it was
It
him.
was just him. Right.
Because mama could not see me.
Right.
Girlfriend, I couldn't see me.
Mhm.
I couldn't see me. And it was interesting because all I ever wanted was to create something and build something or do something. And, you know, I always felt like I had this earning for service,
Yeah.
okay? And I always wanted, like, truly from the bottom of my heart, like I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a mom. I love having that home.
Yeah.
And I that was everything to me. So you can only imagine my mindset and where I was at to leave.
Yeah.
To leave.
Wow.
And so now, and there's, you know, obviously in between, but now, seriously, like, I'm really on a mission, girlfriend. I really am on a mission to have people slow down a little bit, pause,
Yeah.
and evaluate things. And if they can't see things clearly,
Right.
to go get some help.
Yeah.
Get some eyes that someone can say, okay,
Right.
let's really break this down.
Right.
What's really going on, you know? And so after I left him, I went through. I started going to that therapy thing, and I went to therapy. I got coaching. I've got therapy. I did a lot of work,
Yeah.
a lot of deep healing, a lot of work. I wholeheartedly believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, as an individual human being, because you can't see what you can't see. And you know what it is? Sometimes you can't see how you're showing up.
Right. So true.
You can't, mama. It's just sometimes you just can't. So after I went and I got the therapy, and I believe that type of work is something you don't do alone.
Right.
You have to actually I needed a professional to ask me questions. I needed a professional
Pull it out. Yeah.
to pull it out and do stuff that I wasn't even aware.
Right.
And then I ended up doing this program thing. It's called EMDR.
Oh, yeah.
And it changed my life because it helps you with certain memories that, you know,
Right.
come up. And then when I was going through that, I just realized, oh my gosh, this now makes more sense of why I showed up the way I did, because we only know
Right.
what we know from
We
our
can show up
childhood.
only from our experiences until we do the work. Right.
For real. Like, that was real.
So did your idea for the podcast spark after your divorce?
So my idea for the podcast sparked after I got remarried.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So I went through, so now you have Charlene. So now I'm like, I'm leaving the guy. And it wasn't about the money because I was, you know, in a position that I can afford it. But then I was like, okay, I wanted to make sure, I still live in the same neighborhood, but I lived in a neighborhood that literally my kids grew up in.
Okay.
They grew up in there. So I was like, well, if I'm doing all this, I want to make sure that at least we stay in the same neighborhood.
Right.
Like, I didn't want to interrupt them.
Right. The kids.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize. Okay. So I did that. I stayed in the neighborhood. Now I'm a single mom. Now I got all the kids. And I'm like, what did I just do? I'm like,
Somebody help.
but I'm still kind of at the time in that mindset.
Right.
Like, you know
if
what I'm
he
saying?
could have just gotten better.
If he could, it was all him. It was all
this
him.
work. Right.
If he could have got better, he should, whatever that stuff was. So then I find myself finally, after I went through all that work, I was like, how am I ever going to, like, open my heart again?
Yeah.
Is that even possible anymore? And if I'm going to do this again, what am I going to do differently?
Yeah.
Am I going to be okay? Are there any good men out there anymore? Like, this was my process. And I really believe, well, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe all the good ones are gone, you know, because I'm older. And I'm young. I'm still young. I'm only 52. So I was like, I'm not sure.
Right.
So that's where the second part of my story happens. Okay. I didn't realize that, you know, trying to go out there and with the matters of the heart. You don't go out there like I did as my businesswoman.
Right.
You know what I mean? Boss
Right.
babe.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that wasn't working.
Right.
You know, and it had nothing to do with like me physically.
Yeah.
You know, I've always felt confident. I'm like, you know, you're a pretty lady, you're a nice lady.
Right.
But girlfriend, that was another thing. Then I started showing up, and a lot of the guys were like, what?
It was quite the energy, right?
She's like, they're like, what is that? Like, because I was more the boss babe.
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, just relax and just
Yeah.
kind of getting to know people, just, you know, what it is now. So,
You're like, what's your deepest, darkest secret?
yeah,
And how much money is
like,
in the bank?
exactly. Yeah, how much you got, money, buddy? What's up? You know, let me say, stand up. I'm gonna see how tall
There you go.
are. Yeah. I didn't know.
What do your investments look like? Let's talk about these things.
Yeah, I didn't know.
First date.
Yeah, I didn't know. And but what I realized is after I went through all that work, after so much trial and error, I figured out a way. I was like, oh, okay, this is the better way. Because I did already like the healing. I actually needed some advice and some, trial and error to really figure out, like, how do you really date?
Right. You're dating, you're a single mom, you have kids, obviously.
And what are my intentions and what I'm looking for? And I didn't want to like waste time.
Right.
But I knew that it takes time to get to know someone.
Right.
So eventually I meet my husband. And it's awesome because the way that I am now, I'm still Charlene. But, you know, Charlene, like now, a little bit, 2.0 or something, you know. Charlene's more aware of herself now. Charlene is learned some skills, you know, that we all can learn.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now. To have a healthy, loving relationship. And not only that, because this is the mission I'm on. This is truly why I birthed the podcast, and I'm doing the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I really believe that women can have both.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I want to talk to you about that because I really believe that women can have great success because that wasn't the problem for me.
Right.
You know? But I also really believe with all my heart that women can have great love. And it matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think it has to do with age.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has to do with if you've been married before or not married before. I really believe it's available for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is, you know, like I said earlier, we get in our way and we can't see what we can't see. And it's like the way that we're thinking of things. Like I really thought at one time, girlfriend, seriously, how am I going to find myself a good man if I thought that my beliefs were thinking that they're all gone?
Right.
Because that's actually not true.
Right.
Because you know what I learned? The majority of the men out here are actually great.
Yeah.
Are actually great.
That's awesome.
And that's awesome. I didn't know.
Right.
So, yeah, so I know that was a long-winded answer.
No, that's so powerful. And I think we talk a lot about high-achieving women and relationships and how that, I mean, whether it's friendships or dating or marriage, they're hard for high-achieving women. And oftentimes because we're so in that energy, which you spoke to, of that kind of boss babe energy, which is a lot. And we need that. It's almost that masculine energy where we show up
good for our business.
which is really good for our business. And we're created in our feminine energy. And I think having that balance, and I know for us, my husband and I have been married for 20 years. And when I'm an oldest daughter, so I have that energy.
Okay, so you already had that.
Generator.
Okay.
I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. So
okay.
I'm kind of a go-getter. I'm just going to get shit done. But I would show up in my marriage in that energy.
You did.
And I was like, okay, let's do this. And my husband's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like this is like, slow down.
Whoa, lady.
Yeah, buttercup.
But what I was realizing is instead of allowing him to be kind of lead, I would go into lead.
Yeah.
And
you were doing all the things.
I was also at the same time desperately seeking that softness for me. And wanting to tap into that softness, but I didn't know how.
Yes.
And so my first instinct was to blame him.
Yes.
It's like, well, you don't let me be soft.
Yes.
Whatever.
It's all you.
And it's all your
you're making
fault,
me do everything.
Right? And the more I learned about myself is like, oh, I'm not capable in my current energy to show up in that way.
That was me.
And I think it's a common story, especially with high achieving women.
Yes.
Is that we have to be high achieving and in our masculine energy over here. And we don't know how to transition and utilize both. And I think the magic happens when we can utilize both the masculine and the feminine energy together.
100%.
And I think men need that too,
100%.
right? Tapping in more into their softness. And obviously that could be a whole nother podcast. But I think that magic and that blend happens when it's both.
Yes. Yes. And that's when it's both, that's the safety for the man and the woman.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the people think that it's not both, but it really is both. It's like for me, that's literally why, because I've always felt as a woman like feminine, but I didn't present feminine.
Correct.
I looked feminine.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
your energy is kind
my
of
energy.
masculine.
Yeah. But my energy, the same. I was always, I'm a mama too. Yeah. I'm a really high achieving woman. I get things done.
Right.
I really get things done.
Correct.
So, and then I was married to the energies. Actually, when we got together for my first husband, the energies were kind of correct in the sense of like in the beginning, I was more feminine with him and I allowed him to lead. And then as I became successful and as I got going, and then I was also a stay-at-home mom too. It was crazy, which was my favorite thing in the whole wide world. But when that happened, I didn't see it. I didn't realize it.
Right.
I just switched into a full, boss mode.
Right.
Controlling.
Yeah.
And control also had a lot to do with because I didn't have control when I was a kid. Like my life was completely out of control. So I knew that came from that too.
Right.
And, but I realized when I became a feminine embodiment practitioner, I had to do that for myself. I had to do that for myself because like, what does this mean? How do you do that? Like, how do you really shift it to where each energy is beautiful?
Yeah.
We need them both.
We do.
It's all good. It's ebb and flow. It's a flow, right? But how do I learn how to be able to show up in another way, but then also still feel safe and still feel that if I let go, he's got me.
Right.
It takes a masculine man. They got to do their part too for us to be able to let go.
I think where I struggled the most
happened?
The society.
Okay.
I grew up not religious and with my parents at all. Went to an organization called Young Life. It's kind of a youth ministry.
Okay.
And you're ingrained as soon as you get in there, whether it's church, youth ministry, whatever it is, that your role is to be a mom and the kind of caretaker of the house.
Okay. That was ingrained in you guys.
Correct.
Okay.
So not through my parents, but through the
organization.
Yeah,
okay.
the religion.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I felt like I have a calling to do big things. And I didn't know where to put that.
Okay.
And so I think when I came into the relationship, my husband and I met in college.
Okay.
And he's incredible. He's my number one supporter. He's like, please go make all the fucking money. I'll stay home with the kids.
Yeah.
Like he's a way better stay-at-home dad than I would ever be a stay-at-home mom.
That's fantastic.
So neither of us stay at home, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think there was so much internal like battling with that. This is your role. And I knew in my soul that I was not created to just be a mom.
Yeah.
And I say just be a mom, not in the role of like a stay-at-home mom, because I think that is the hardest job
it is
that anyone can ever do on this planet. Yep. I did it for 2 months, and I was like, "Dear Lord, please, someone get me out of here." So I can't do it. So kudos to those who can do it.
I did it. Yeah.
So, and what I mean by that is that I think there is this societal or cultural, religious, whatever it is, this assumption that you can only do this. You're not made to do anything else but this. And I think it should be a choice. And the women who choose to do it are the most incredible women on this earth. They deserve all the accolades and the awards. But I also didn't feel like it was made for me.
Correct.
And so I knew I wanted to be a mom, but I think there was this, and my husband was like, go work, go do whatever you want. Like it wasn't him. It wasn't coming from him. Yeah. But I almost felt like I entered the relationship with this like fight or flight mode.
Okay. Yeah.
Of like, fuck everyone.
Yep.
I'm going to do it my way.
Yep.
And I know all of you don't agree with me.
Right.
And it was almost like I'm trying to prove to
kind
you.
of prove something. Yeah, like
And
you had
so-
already, like, I can tell you already had
Right?
that. Like,
I was
you know,
like,
what, yeah.
totally. Like talk about tits up. Like,
because yeah,
my
tits
were
up.
way up.
Because you're like, and you know what? You're not going to tell me that I have to
Right.
just do one thing because that really affected you
Totally.
when you were a child.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I can
and
see
I
that.
want to say it again, like it did not come from my husband.
No.
But I think it was this.
That's what we talked about.
Yes.
How we grow up and the impact and
Right.
the messaging.
And what you're hearing.
And when
from
you're hearing
outside.
and can really-
Yes.
okay.
So I entered my relationship with this man who was like, yeah, go do whatever you want.
Like, he was totally cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I was also we were hanging around in the church and with friends. And I want to say too, like I am part of a church. I love my community. Like there is safe spaces there.
Yes.
But I think I was just young and naive and thought like I have to prove, and I'm the only one on this earth who can prove that that I can do both.
Yeah.
And that God created me to do both.
Right.
Right. And
Well, he
so
did create us to do both, but
Right?
yeah,
But I
they were
thought that was
giving
my job
yes,
to teach everyone
the
else.
messages. Yes,
And
yes.
so I came into this relationship with this masculine energy.
Okay.
And so my husband was like, cool, like, great, take it, right?
Take it, girl.
But then I think I was found I burned out.
You burned
I was exhausted.
Yep.
And then it was my own self and it was my own fault from my past trauma, from my
Yes.
church religion trauma, from whatever.
Yes.
But I was bringing that into my relationship.
Yes.
And my husband was like, great, you go, girl. Do whatever you need to do. Like,
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
It wasn't him. It was you.
No, it
Yeah.
was totally me.
Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
not owning that. And until I really, honestly, if I'm being super honest,
Yeah.
the last couple of years, like we've been married for 20 years.
Yes.
You know, through good and bad, there's been lots of
And
journeys.
you're a mama
in
of
there.
four
A mama
boys.
of 4 boys.
Damn, girl. It's a
But-
lot of masculine in that house.
Right.
Woo!
And I was bringing my own masculine.
And then you were
energy.
masculine too.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, it was a full
It
masculine
was
house.
all
Oh,
masculine.
it was all
We have
masculine.
one female dog and she's
Yeah.
kind of useless.
She's probably like, I'm done.
Totally. She's like, y'all stop.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was like this almost this, I felt a responsibility to
Yeah.
prove to everyone else that God created me to do both. And it was almost this like I had to put this like hard, kind of hard ass like armor on
Yeah.
of like, you
Because
can't
you're doing
tell me what
both.
to
You're
do,
like,
'cause I'm
yeah,
gonna
you're
do
like, no
both.
one's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to be crazy successful,
Yes.
but I'm also going to be a great mom
Right.
and I'm going to be the wife.
But then I realized
And
like,
you're, like,
what
exhausted.
my soul and my nervous system needed was that softness for me to come out
100%.
and to trust Justin, my husband, to
Yes.
be that person to catch me when I needed to rest, and me the same way for him, right?
Yeah.
Vice versa. But I think there was just such a longing and craving that I didn't realize until I tapped into therapy, and coaching, and all the things.
All the things, you guys. It's
right?
really, it really makes a
It
difference
does,
in your
but
life.
I
It
learned
changes
who
your life.
I was, and I learned who I was through human design, and then how I was showing up in the world through the Enneagram.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa. Like
It started making sense.
It started making sense, and I realized what I was avoiding in not really getting to know myself. I was avoiding feeling the feelings because I didn't have time, because I had to be in this powerful
Oh yeah,
energy all the time.
we don't have time.
We don't
No,
have
no,
time.
no.
I also thought that to be emotional or to have emotions, that I was laying on my bed and crying all night.
Yeah.
That was
That's
my
so familiar.
my thought of being
Yes,
emotions.
yes,
And
yes.
I remember the day my therapist said, she's like, do you know an emotion takes 90 seconds to feel?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
What? You're like,
I'm
it's
like-
not all night?
I can do that.
Yeah.
That's it. I can do that.
Yes.
Like, okay, I can make this happen.
Yes.
And it was just so slowly finding out like, oh, this is how you feel. This is the emotions. This is how to be soft. And I can be soft and successful at the same time. And that was when the magic happened, I think. And I realized like, oh, what was I bringing into the relationship?
Yeah.
And then how can I flip that in my own energy?
In your own
right?
energy. Oh,
Mhm.
that's so good.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you truly started like noticing that shift,
Mhm.
like, because you said you've been with your man for like 20 years,
Yeah.
right? So let's say this happened, good 3 or 4 or 2 years ago. Let's just give you
Mhm.
that. When you went through that work and you started to realize, okay, something got to shift.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you were just exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just burned out.
Burned out.
Burned out. Okay. What did you start noticing with yourself when you started shifting?
Mhm.
Like, what was the change starting to happen in you?
I think bringing that feminine energy into it. So it was the softness, and I did that with my business. I mean, all of this happened kind of at the similar
It
time
did?
where I,
That's good.
yeah, we ended a 13-year partnership.
You had, that's right. You had the,
Yep.
okay.
I stepped out on my own, took Foundress. And then I'm learning all about myself through the coaching and the therapy. I mean, this is all happening kind of at the same time.
At the same time.
And so realizing, I also felt like there was a long time where I felt like if I had to back away from work, and even if I wasn't being super productive, but I was busy, I felt like everything would crumble if I backed away.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this, like, God, like I was kind of playing God.
Yeah.
I was like, well, no one's going to survive unless I show up like this.
No one's going to make it.
Right.
No one, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to do it all. It was such again, because I felt like I was out of control, that I needed that control.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to do it all. Again, to the point, well, thank goodness that you kind of figured this out. That was me, but then I left.
Right.
What shifted with your husband when you started also shifting? Was he able to receive that? Or was he like, what? Who are you now?
No, I think it was like a breath of fresh air, probably. Of like, but then also he had been dealing with his own. Yeah. I mean, we all, right? We're all human.
We all.
What he had brought into the relationship.
Got it.
And I think that's still kind of coming to light. And he watched me fully go through that, like learning about myself and trying to transform myself to be the best version of myself. And he was inspired and was like, oh, I need to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we're able to like bring to the table. Now nothing's perfect, right?
No, you guys, there's no perfect relationship. But this is the deal. There's no perfect relationship, but there is a person that's perfect for us. Yeah. That's really a real thing.
Yeah.
So
my husband believes in soulmates. I do not.
Okay.
I think I could get along with a lot of people. He doesn't love that answer, but
I believe that you can fall in love more than once.
Yeah.
I do too. And I think that you can have a few soulmates.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's like, it's just one. I said, no, that's not true. There's like 1 billion people in the world.
Right.
Like, that's what, because I work with women. Yeah. I work with single women. And they're like, no. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Just because that guy from 1982 didn't work out, that is not your soulmate, because they're still out there. And remember I said, there's great men out there. So yes, I do believe that you can have a relationship and fall in love, and it can be amazing. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen again.
Right. And it's a daily choice.
Yes,
right?
it really is.
Like how
really
to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And then working together. And it's not this, I think people think this marriage is like, well, you're either going to make it or you're not. And it's like, I want to caveat this because I think this can be, and I'm sure you do this all the time in your podcast too, but I think this can be such a touchy subject if there's abuse and there's like, there's definitely times.
Let's talk about that real quick. So
there's times to leave.
Yeah,
right?
There's difference. So if you are in a marriage or relationship and there is abuse, okay? And abuse is something that no matter what, you can't control another human being.
Right.
So if you're in an abusive relationship and that person is showing up abusively, you won't be able to control another human being. Right. So it doesn't matter what you do. Right. You can't control another human being. Right. They are responsible for how they're showing up. They're responsible for their energy. Right. They're responsible for not controlling their emotions, because we all have emotions. Right. Men and women, we all have emotions. Right. So men will say, I had someone on my podcast, and she was explaining to me that men will say that, women are so emotional. No, we're all emotional. Right. We just express our emotions differently. Right. So if you have a woman that is expressing her emotions, okay, a lot of times you'll have a man expressing his emotion with anger. Right. That's emotion.
Or avoidance.
Yeah, or avoidance or something. Or with anger. Yeah. Usually men that are really quiet and avoidance, but they also come out and do the anger. That comes out pretty aggressively. So just to make sure before we go anywhere, if you are in an abusive relationship, this is my advice from you. I'm a relationship coach. I've been doing this work for a long time. You have to actually physically leave. You can't change somebody. Right. And when someone shows you who they are, you got to believe them. Right. And so, yes, so that's the difference. But
yeah, so I'm always careful on that because I also think every relationship's different. Like,
yes.
You have to show up. But when there's two people that are willing to work on this, and sometimes those seasons come in different times,
they 100%
right? Like there's definitely been times where I've been working and my husband's like, no thanks, I'm checked out. And there's other, and then vice versa, where I'm like checked out. I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yes.
We're not doing this.
Nope.
But at the heart of it, we are both wanting to be the best versions of ourselves for ourselves and for each other.
Yes.
And I think when you have that, it's a choice that you make daily.
Yes.
Like I remember one time when I got married and I think it was my mother-in-law. And she was just like, divorce. If you go into a relationship thinking divorce is not an option, you figure it out. Again, aside from abuse.
But I think we get, no, I love that you're saying that. And I just want to say this too. I'm a firm believer. If you're going to get married, 100%, the point in getting married is to stay with that person for the rest of your life.
Right.
So yes, I believe that people that are going into marriage, for the most part, it's kind of like the point.
Right.
It's like,
hope, right?
Well, kind of like, that's kind of the point.
Right.
And why are we getting married? We really want to get married to have a covenant between one another and stay with each other for the rest of your life. So you should be able to go into marriage. You guys, seriously, if you're going to get into marriage, that should be the goal. Right? Everyone's different, but I'm just saying that's kind of the point of marriage. Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
But
it's
I think
beautiful.
it's that daily choice, right?
Yes, 100%.
But if you have no awareness of your own self and how you're showing up, that's where I think it can get really tricky and hard, and especially for those ambitious females like we are and those high achieving women that do often come in with that energy.
Yes.
And I almost even hate saying masculine and feminine energy because I think we label it in a certain way. But it's like if we're coming in like a bull in a china shop, trying to control everything, and also within at the same time craving something different, a different outcome. It's like we have to look inward too.
100%.
Right? Like what's going on with me?
100%.
And I think that your story resonates with me. Of like, it's so easy to go, oh, well, it's his problem.
It's his problem. You know what? So I work with individual women. And I also work with couples. And I also just work with men because I'm helping them with the matters of the heart. Okay? And then I want to tell you something what I find fascinating. My husband and I are facilitators for premarital counseling because I wholeheartedly believe that anybody that's going to get married, they should absolutely do premarital counseling because it is awesome. Because it gives you information that you're just not aware of. And it really helps you have conversations that you're not normally going to have. And have conversations that are really important to have to really see, oh my gosh, okay, we're not just in the middle of, which is wonderful. We're like, we're feeling all fuzzy, getting married. No, it's a very positive experience. It really does, but it changes in a different way. You know, it's all good. You still have your best friend. Seriously, because that's what I'm in the business of. Letting people know that marriage is your best friend lover, because it's not platonic, it's your lover, it's your best friend. But anyway, so I was going to tell you, so we do this premarital program and we're certified. And I am finally kind of figuring this out. I'm still learning, but just working with a lot of people, right? One of the things that wholeheartedly just get in the way of having a loving, kind, romantic relationship, not perfect, because we're not, we're people, is truly something that you said is us. Because not only that we can't see ourselves, we get triggered if, certain people in the house or our significant others say certain things. Even though, remember I said to you, we are still responsible for ourselves. For our actions. So what I've learned is one of the things that is the most important thing, and everyone thinks they know this, but they really don't. It's okay. It's just a muscle you can learn, is how to actually communicate. It is fascinating how to really communicate in a way that both the man and the woman in the relationship feel heard and respected. Okay? That is a skill. So if anyone's listening right now and they're like, oh, okay, where are we going now? Now we're talking about communication? Yes. We're going to talk about communication because I don't know about you, but I know when I was married to my ex-husband, and I'm not saying I have it perfect with the one now. I'm just different now, right? When I was married to my ex-husband, I honestly, again, thought that I was a good communicator. You know how I communicated? Just basically, don't say anything that I don't want to hear. Because then I'm going to get mad. And don't tell me what to do. And don't tell me that bothered you, because you know what? I don't have bad intentions.
I don't feel bad.
It's like
my problem.
So that was the way I used to communicate.
I used to say sorry to my husband this way, and he laughed so hard, and he was like, Coley, that's not an apology.
That's not an apology.
And then I learned about my Enneagram and actually my horoscope, and it was like, this is very common in the way we apologize, but I said, I'm sorry that you took it that way.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Like I would never actually
own it.
I was like, well, that's not my fault. That's not what I meant. And he's like, what are you talking about? You said it. I was like, well, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry that you took it that way.
And do you know, and I know it sounds funny, but when we are really not aware of our words, right?
Yeah.
Like it actually affects you.
It's so powerful.
It's really powerful.
Right.
It's really powerful.
Speaking of communication, I love this story. So my girlfriend married 3 kids, ended up realizing she's a lesbian and left her family. They got divorced. And
so she gets married. Did she have the 3 kids?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then she's like, okay, I'm not doing this.
Yep. And she's in another relationship, and we joke in our friend group, we're like, you're making this sound so appealing.
Yeah.
Because the 2 women communicating together and getting shit done, I'm like, dear Lord, this sounds amazing. And we're all like, we're so jealous. But I think you're right.
We all need to be lesbians, okay?
The communication is such a key part. And women tend to be better at communicating. Yeah. But we're not always great with our words.
And you know what, though? I really don't think we're that much better.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Because even though
we're better with each other.
Yeah, I think we're better. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, the best part is, and you're a mom, Mama. Come on, you're a mom of boys, and I'm a mom of boys. Yeah. You know, we've been doing this boy-mom thing for a while. Yeah. And truly, and this is what I love, men and women are different. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's actually kind of cool, right? So the way that I communicate to my boys and my husband are actually so different than how I communicate to my ladies. Because my boys need me a little more shorter and directer to the point. My daughter, I have a daughter too. I got to have the daughter in there. My daughter, we like talk and communicate and go back and forth and stuff like that. Even talk to me about that.
It's interesting because I have found that each of my kids are so different too.
They are different, yeah.
So yes, you have the male and the female differences, and then each child is so different, 100%. And the communication and their need of feeling loved, how they feel loved and valued is so different. Like I have one kiddo who has to know why.
The why. And
so we have longer conversations because I have one kid that if I just said go do that, he'd be like, all right, cool, let's go.
He just go.
And he'll do it.
Yeah.
And then my other guy is like, yeah, why is that important? And how does that impact my life? And what's the bigger picture? What's the mission here, right?
Oh my goodness, that's adorable.
And he's so smart and so brilliant.
Yes.
But I'm like, oh, you have to communicate with them so differently.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And so I think the tools that I've found so helpful with human design and Enneagram is like you can learn the types and the numbers, and then learn how you work well together.
Right. Kind of like how they fit.
Yeah,
how they fit.
And just like there's the Enneagram basically is talking about how you show up in the world, how you react to things, what triggers you, how you how you thrive, how you go under stress. And so learning about those about your partner is so important, because once you learn about that, you actually what it gives you is compassion. And I think I think it's probably the basis of what you teach too, is it's like if you can learn the why and the how of your partner showing up, you have not that that's perfect and you go, well, that is the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's like obviously we want to strive to be better.
Yes.
But when you learn that, you can go, oh, he's not mad at me. He's mad at this, or I triggered him because of this, or this is coming out from his childhood or whatever. It's like the more we can learn about each other and dive into that, just knowing of ourselves and our partners, I think that brings that compassion, and then it's so much easier to communicate with each other because you're not defensive.
You're not defensive,
right?
Yeah, I think when we are with any relationship, like honestly, with any relationship, and if you have that tool that you're talking about, again, that's just a really good tool, right? And sometimes not a lot of people, take the time to, do those tools. And some people are like, well, I'm not really there. But I also think, though, when you learn about yourself and you, again, like I said earlier, and you actually win someone's talking, or it could be your child, it can be your husband, it can be whatever's going on. If someone is saying something that is is triggering you internally, because we all have that. Like there's certain things that we're like, "Ooh,
what's that?
I didn't like that." You know what I mean? Like you feel a little jabbed or whatever that is. Okay. I still believe with all my heart, and this is what I'm doing now. I still believe with all my heart that we still have that opportunity and the responsibility to still, even if don't have those extra. Get the extra tools for sure. But even if you don't have that, this is something that you can apply right now.
Right. Well, step one.
It really is.
Right.
Like you could just apply right now is just be aware of you. Yeah. Be aware of how you're responding. Honestly, be aware of like, okay, is what that, if did my child just say something that I'm about to lose my mind? Right. Or am I going to just am I going to take a breath before I respond? Right. I think that is true communication. Yeah. So communication is not necessarily me needing to say something all the words. Sometimes communication, this is communication. This is what I tell people. I said, let me tell you how to be a really good communicator. Here we go. Take your top lip and just bring your bottom lip together. You're golden.
Yeah, listen.
Because once you don't react to whatever's going on, because we're in charge of our energy, we're in charge of all the stuff. And I'm not saying that someone is being not nice and not bully. You're not going to be there like a damsel in distress and just deal with that stuff. Right. But we all as people, if someone is acting like that towards us, we have a right to physically get up and be like, I'm not going to do this. Now, it's easier said than done. Right? Because when you're in the moments. Right. But I really feel that we all, like, honestly, like, that's been my lesson as a woman. Yeah. That has been the best thing I've ever done for myself is slow down, is really pay attention to what's going on inside Charlene, like in me, and how am I going to respond? Right. Because what are my intentions?
It's a choice, right?
Right? It really is a choice. Again, a muscle. But that's how I've learned to have that tool moving forward in the relationships because I got remarried. And again, they're not perfect. Right. But girlfriend, I never thought that you can actually, like I said, you can be in a marriage with someone that you can call your best friend lover and be able to work through this because you don't get into any relationship and you're like going to be this fully healed. No. You know
I
what?
Made it.
I
have no problem.
You know what happens is you get married and then your husband or your wife or whatever, they mirror you and you see yourself and you're like, oh wow, I'm way more. Wow, I got a lot of stuff here.
Right. Well, I think that's such a true point that I want people to hear is like oftentimes when we're triggered, it's not about the other person, whether it's in a friendship, a relationship, a parent relationship. Yeah, it triggers our own shame.
It does.
And that's what comes up and that's what we fight against.
Yes.
And then our reaction to that shame because we're embarrassed is so much more aggressive than if we were just to take a pause and be aware of like, what is that inside me? And it comes up in business too.
Girlfriend, like I want to coin this. Like I'm not even kidding you. Take a pause. Talk to me how it also comes up in business. It's huge. It's what I'm saying right now.
Well, I think as women, we often feel we're not allowed to ask for help. We're supposed to know all the things. We're supposed to be super women, do all the things, and be alone. Right. And so I think
alone on the island,
right? You're just by yourself, and you have to figure it out yourself. And I think that's why I've had such a huge passion for community is because when you can rub shoulders with other women that are going, wait, are you sure that's how you heard that? Is that what she said?
Is that what she said? Yeah.
But we have these beliefs in ourselves that we're not good enough. We're not ready.
Yes.
We're not smart enough.
Yes.
We don't have enough money.
Yes.
We're not doing the thing, right? everyone
all
else
of
is
the
better than us,
insecurities
all the
inside.
insecurities.
Yep,
And
yep.
so when something comes up in business, if a client says something or a coworker says something or your employee says something, and a lot of times those things are just triggered by our own insecurities.
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter if you're in a romantic relationship, a parent relationship,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Working relationship.
100%.
I think that is such an important tool to have, is that pause of going, am I triggered by this person?
Right.
Now that happens.
It happens.
Sometimes people are just assholes and you're
Yeah,
like, okay, bye.
I got triggered
Right?
earlier. Yeah,
Totally.
I'm like, oh, what did that person just say? Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's like, yes, that happens.
Yes.
But like pause and go, is this an insecurity? Is this shame?
Yep.
Or is this really that other person?
Yeah.
And I think that pause that you were talking about, is that stop, is so powerful. And we often just, I don't, whether we're too busy or we're not aware, we don't do it.
No, we need to do it because that pause is what, again, you're talking to a woman that had no pause.
Right.
Like there was, so I'm actually saying something like I already said my volume was not pausey.
Right.
My volume was not, we're going to communicate.
Right.
Now, how did I make you feel?
Right.
Which is really good. I'm telling you guys.
Right.
But I wasn't
Right.
there, right? So what I've learned is the pause
Yeah.
is actually, when we talk about energy,
Mm-hmm.
listen to me. The energy is the pause because you're controlling your energy. You're not allowing somebody else
Right.
and whatever's going on with that person, you're not allowing them to control your energy, because when we react
Right.
to that,
They have the power.
they got all the power. Now we're like, how many times have I been there?
Oh yeah.
How many
Every
times
day,
have I
right?
been there? Seriously.
Yeah.
So
I
how
mean, my
many times-
kids,
Oh,
talk about being triggered. Your freaking children
yes.
can trigger you the worst. And you're
yeah.
like, oh.
And then I didn't realize So my boys, I have my boys, but I love my daughter. We have the best relationship. But man, my daughter will literally just say stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, you're wearing that, Mom?
That's very nice.
Mom, you smell. I'm like, whoa, wow. Like, it was just like a lot of like, what, really? I showered? You know what I
funny.
mean? Like, they say stuff that I'm so
Yeah.
triggered.
I remember my little guy one time, I had like gotten
my
out in the shower
gosh.
and he like toddled into
Yeah.
my bathroom and he's like, Mom, do you know your butt jiggles when you walk? And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, that's your fault, child. You're so mean.
So mean. Mine did the same. I remember mine came in one time. I don't know which one it was, but I was horrified. And I'm like, I got out of the shower too and everything like that. And he literally stood there. He was little.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, you have a big butt. It's big. And he kept going. He's like really big. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
and all I knew
Like,
what to
thanks?
do. No, I literally did that. No, I was in shock that he was like just really talking about it. And so then I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And
Oh my gosh.
I was traumatized. But anyway, I want to ask you
funny.
something. You know how you work with and deal, you're in the world of very high achieving women that, like we talked about, like you and I, like we are definitely high achieving. We are making waves in the world. We are like, yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, in the community, you have a little bit of everything. So you have, women that are married, and then there's, lots of the women that are not married.
Yeah.
When it comes to the matters of the heart and when it comes to business, what do you notice too with women that are wanting to obviously, build their career and go for it? But they also, what I said earlier, I believe you can have both, but they don't believe they can have both.
They don't believe it. But you know
Talk
why
to
they
me
don't
about
believe
that.
it?
Yeah, I want to hear
Because
that.
Society tells us they can't.
Okay.
Society tells us that you're a bad mom if you work outside the home.
Okay.
Society tells us that you aren't supposed to be driven to make money because that's greedy. We're supposed to be grateful for what we have. Like we are up against so much. Like I see it over and over again. Women are like, I'm going to build my career and then I'm going to go have a family. And that's a choice and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm trying to help shift that.
Yeah,
I
and
think you could do both.
I think you can do both.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm proof of it. There's a lot of women that are proof of it.
I'm proof of it.
Yeah. Is it hard? Hell yeah.
It's hard
But
either
is it
way,
hard
though.
either way? That's exactly.
It's really
It's
hard either way.
So if you're longing for that, and there's some women that have no interest in that. And I think that's a beautiful life that you get to live and choose. But if you want that, and if your desire is to have a relationship and a career, I do think it's possible. But again, I think we start with that awareness of ourselves. Who are we? What do we want? And I don't know. I mean, I got married at 20. I have no idea what I was doing. I was young.
Young.
Yeah, so young. And I remember my husband calling his brother, who was 12 years older than him. And he said, I love this woman. I want to get married, but it feels stupid to get married so young. Everyone's telling us that we're dumb, but that's all I want. And he also got married young. And he just said, like, listen, he's like, you can get married young and it's going to be really hard because you're going to have no money. You're going to not know what you're doing in your life. You're going to figure this out together. You're going to grow up together. And that's hard. He goes, or you could wait 10 years. You can get married. And then you're bridging two humans that are older, have a lot of baggage. And that's also going to be hard. So you get to choose your hard. But they're both hard. Marriage is hard.
Yes.
And beautiful.
Yes.
Either way.
Yes.
And so I think my advice to women who have that longing,
yes,
right?
the longing,
If you have that longing to be with someone, that someone's out there for you, and that you can do both if that's what you want.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
I really believe that. And that's the mission I'm on. Because what I've noticed too is that if you were in that position, and I know that a lot of the women that we're talking about, they might have already been married before. And they're just, they're not in their 20s.
Right.
And so they're thinking that I just got to, do the business part. But that's why I'm really appreciating this conversation. Because yes, mama, you can do the business part. But you can also do it with, a partner.
Right.
You can, and I mean a romantic partner.
Yeah.
And I want to debunk what society is saying.
Right.
Like, that's the mission I'm
right.
on. I think it's just so disempowering. It's so bullshit, because really the majority of all of us as human beings, and okay, I know that you said that there's some that don't want that. That's okay. I think this is different for everyone. But I'm really honestly speaking for the majority of people. Majority of people, we are all wanting companionship. Like real, true, like a partner for life, in general, right? So I know that me working with a lot of women, even though they might say, no, I don't know, I think that has a lot to do with they're scared. They don't, they've been hurt before, and their beliefs. But that's the conversation that I want women to understand, is that you actually can be successful. You actually can, it doesn't, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you've been married before. It doesn't matter if you haven't been, whatever that is. And if this is the desire in your heart, you can have both. And I also believe in building with your partner. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I could not work with my husband, but I really appreciate and value people who could do that.
Yeah,
my
I believe in that.
Laugh. We're like, no thanks. But I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think finding someone who has whether you're a single male or single female or looking for a partner, I think finding someone who values who you were created to be is so important too, because my husband, like, I would not be as successful as I am without my husband's support. If I had someone that came home every day and he was like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? What was this? Like thinking I needed to be fitting in this role that my heart wasn't in.
Or you doing it just alone. Because even though you're not building the business with him, you got the support. Because you're a mom and you are.
Well, and I go to events at night, and my husband has always, since day one. So I started my first company 13 years ago. So my first kid, I can't do math. I was 4. And then I had a 2-year-old. And then I was pregnant with my third.
And you're still doing your thing.
Yeah, when we sold that business, but doing a different business. But I mean, we would go to events at night, and I would leave the babies at home with dad, and he, they would be crying, and where's mom tucking me in and whatever. And Justin's like, that's enough. Mom's gonna go be a badass. She's gonna make some money.
You see, mom is mom. I'm here.
Yeah, and also like, how cool that mom gets to go do this. How cool that like we get to support mom in this vision and dream. Like if I didn't have that. Entrepreneurship is so hard. So adding the relationship hardness is just, relationships are hard no matter what. But that unsupport of a partner, I think, would be so much harder. So finding someone, like I do believe you could build both. Finding someone that supports that dream.
I think that this is kind of funny. I know it's going to sound funny, but I'm like, how us women, we love the shoes and we love the jewelry and all the accessories. I'm like, mama, one of the best accessories you can have is a beautiful, loving, supportive man. Like, your best friend. Because I don't think that what I like to say too is I don't think that there has to be a certain way. I think couples get to figure out what works.
Right.
Like I really do.
Absolutely,
Like
yeah.
that's why that's another thing that I want to debunk.
Mhm.
I don't think that it has to be like, let's say for an example, you have the male and the female, and we would just people think, men are more, overall better with numbers.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I know some really badass women that
Right.
are good at numbers.
Yeah, I do our finances.
And so I don't think that it has to be, just because male or female, certain roles. Like I don't cook.
Right.
My husband is a very go-getting, masculine man. He is my biggest cheerleader. He's all about, girl, you do you.
Yeah.
And I'm here to support you.
Yeah.
But he also he cooks.
Yeah.
He does the laundry.
My husband loves to cook.
Yeah, mine does too.
I'm
And do the laundry.
because I hate it.
And do the laundry, like seriously stuff. So what I'm saying is, Hughes, I love that you're saying that.
Yeah.
I really love that you're saying that because I don't think that it has to so you guys, so it can be what you want it to be.
Mhm.
You can actually be able to be with someone and you guys can work it out together.
Yeah.
I don't think one thing just fits for everyone,
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
look at your story.
Yeah.
Look at your story. You've been married with your man for 20 years.
Mhm.
You love him to death, but you guys gone through all of it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You're a mama.
Mhm.
You're a very successful woman. And you just said that in your marriage that you have been the one that's kind of like the builder. And I mean, he works and all that.
Yeah.
I got that. But that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's
I
what
heard
I'm
a
talking
quote
about.
one time, and it was
I think that's
about
fucking amazing, girlfriend.
it wasn't a
That's-
50-50. It's like whatever you come.
There's no 50-50.
There's no 50-50.
No.
It's 100-100, and also you're coming in and supporting. It's almost more like this, where you're going back
Yeah.
and forth, and when one needs support, you step in.
Yes.
And then when the next, and
Yes.
you alternate, and it's this beautiful kind of both
Yes.
and, right? That
Yes.
that happens in a relationship.
That's
Yeah.
really good. I think like what I noticed too, when you look at it the way that you're looking at, when you say that like that, and so if, like I said, if you're a single lady
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so maybe there are, maybe there is hope for me. Maybe it is the way that I'm looking at it.
Right.
You guys, you can create what you desire. So if you want to be with a man that's also has that type of mindset that we're going to work with each other, we're going to figure out what works for each
Yeah.
other, that's what you can do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's actually possible.
Right.
Because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Because remember, I had this completely fixed mindset and I thought that things were a certain way and
Yeah.
and then I find myself, single and, mom, 4 kids, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I met Mark and there's no, like I said, there's no perfect,
Yeah.
but we decided how we want to
Yeah.
do things.
Right.
And in the end of the day though, having I don't think that I would be able to be where I'm at either if I truly didn't have my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah. Well, I think my biggest encouragement would just be find out what lights your soul on fire.
Yeah.
And what that longing is. And it's gonna look different. Like I said with my best friend. Like she was married to a man. He's an amazing man.
Yeah.
Like he's one of our best friends. And it wasn't who she was.
No.
And so find out who you are,
Who you are.
what you desire, and then find that person that supports that.
Yeah.
Right. And that fits in that. And I do think there's encouragement. I do think there's hope if you're struggling in marriage or out of marriage,
Yeah.
both ways, right? It's hard both ways.
Yes.
And so choosing hard and showing up for hard.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get to run away from it, right?
No.
We get to show up
Yep.
every day. My girlfriend was single until she turned 40. Like
Yeah.
and now she's incredibly, she has an incredible man. And so
Yeah.
you just never know what your story is going to be, but showing up and continuing to work on yourself, continuing to pay attention and being aware of our own energy that we bring into our own self and our own desires, I think is where the magic happens.
That's the key right there.
I love it.
That is the key.
Okay. We could do 7 more podcasts.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I would love to talk more about this.
I literally thank you. I love talking to you
I
this
love
way.
talking to you too.
This is really
so powerful
amazing.
and it's so important.
It's so important. It's so
I
important.
love it. So how can we find you?
Oh, yes. How can you find me? Well, I'm really active on Instagram.
Okay.
So MS Charlene Byars. So Miss Charlene Byars. And it's also my website, charlene@charlenebyars.com. But also find me on YouTube. We just started our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
And it's Love Stories with Charlene Byars. And it's a pretty incredible podcast. We have more conversations about love, relationships, dating, women's empowerment. And we'll have you on the show.
I love it.
And yeah, so that's pretty much the best place that you can find
I'll put
me.
those all in the show notes as well for you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Loved our conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this spoke to you, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. You've got this. Stay clear, stay grounded, and stay true to what you're building. Until next time, tits up.